we did a little bit of introductions, but clearly waiting for you to join us and kick off the conversation.
Yeah, so listen, man, like your funeral, what does that look like? Let's hear it.
Who's this?
Ah,
You, David, like yours.
Oh my God, surrounded by tons of great people, such as inside of this room. I made a huge dent in the universe, really contributed, spread a lot of love, allowed others to step into their love, and I'm honored for all of that I've provided for other people.
And David, thank you for doing this. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And David, I want to acknowledge you as somebody with true, super high level of mastery in the space of human communication influence. So I'm fired up and excited to be on this journey. So great job, brother. And yeah, how about a fun fact from you, David? If you shared one, forgive me. If not, fun fact.
I did share one that Van is here, but let me think of another one. I love to skydive. My last time I've done that was in Portugal, right on the edge of the shore there. So you got to see the ocean, but also see the land, and it was a rush of an experience.
All right, brother, back to you.
All right, so we were just going around the board, Sean, had introduced the judges so far, and then we are having everybody kind of introduce themselves. Was there any other process you wanted to take
No,
in terms
go
of
ahead, man. You're doing awesome. Yes.
going around? All right, fantastic. Well, Victoria was complete. We'll go to Julian. Julian Dioria, good colleague of mine, good friend of mine, partners in crime. Jump in.
Hey everyone, Julian. I guess it goes without saying, I work in communication with David as well, Templar Advisors. Been there 5 years. It's been a fun journey, much more fun now that David's joined, of course. And the fact that he's taking care of Vanna is scary for me. So that's my fun fact. I'm just kidding. I will share a fun fact. I'm Canadian. I'm sorry about that. It's not really a fun fact. I will say this is my fun fact for the Jersey girl in the room. I used to live in Hipsterville, Brooklyn, in Williamsburg. I didn't quite have a fixed gear, but it didn't have gears on my bike. And when you move from Brooklyn to New Jersey, oh my God, what pain you go through. I will have to say, however, in a very short window of time, roughly 1 month in Jersey City, I'm Jersey strong. I love it. It's great. It's better. The beaches are good. Sorry, Long Island. I love Long Island, to be clear, but it's a little stuffy when you get out there. Montauk's maybe the exception, but the rest of it still gorgeous, still beautiful. It's just a different atmosphere.
So, Julian, real quick, if you don't mind, hey, I'm Sean Callaghy. Pleasure to meet you. And by the way, what beaches have you been to in New Jersey so far?
So I will be very embarrassed to say this, but I have a friend who's out in Belmar. So I go to that area quite frequently. And then I've been down to, gosh, I'm blanking right now. Where is the casino?
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City, very different beach, but still entertaining. And then I've been to the place that's got the, you go on a gondola almost and you go over it, like Sunset Park maybe or something. I can't remember the name of that area. It's on the Jersey Shore. Like they go there and there's like carnivals and it's real trashy.
Seaside
What is
Heights.
it?
Seaside?
Seaside Heights. Thank you. Yeah, Heights. I should have remembered. You went up high and got scared. I had too many drinks and that's what I remember.
All right. So, David, is it okay if I share my quick fun fact? Because I've just gained access to it from Julian.
Absolutely.
So, in Belmar, New Jersey, in 1971, a incredibly profound moment happened in my life. So my mom, who is the most peaceful, loving human imaginable, who worked for the last, well, for about 15 years of her life, stopped about 2 years ago, reading to prisoners, doing Bible study for prisoners in prison, right? In Belmar, New Jersey, it's 1971, and my mom walked straight back into the bar, and my dad had his arms wrapped around a lady, and my mom punched my dad in the face and knocked him off a bar stool in Belmar, New Jersey. Yes, and that was the end of my parents' marriage. So that is my fun fact for today. David, back to you.
Awesome. Definitely a lot of fun in that.
Sorry for bringing up the scar tissue, Sean.
No, no, it is a very famous moment in our family legacy. Yes.
Awesome. I'll go to one of the first that jumped on the call. Damon with the background there, the Candlewood. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what's going on in Nashville.
everyone. My name is Damon Dickinson. Glad to be here. I am the Heart of Success Coaching. And so I do a lot of productivity and peak performance coaching. And actually, I'm going to steal a quote I heard from Joseph Argies this week, which is maximum engagement requires maximum relaxation. And I love focusing in both of those extremes and supporting people and like staying really focused and productive when they're on, and then how to unplug and disengage and rejuvenate and get stronger in the process. So that's a little part about me. I'm here in Asheville, North Carolina. Love it here in the mountains. If you guys ever want to come visit, let me know. And I'm somewhat new to Unblinded. Joseph introduced me, I don't know, about 3 months ago. I have to be honest. I tried to watch the first couple of modules and they were a little too rah for me. And I heard there's some feedback that some of that was kind of reconfigured. And I'm an old school BNIer, president of a chapter here in Asheville. And I've heard that, you know, and from what I've learned, there's some really great things about Unblinded in the freedom and the ability to connect with other people. And I love this term, merging ecosystems. I'm also really grateful for all of the depth of knowledge and learning that I've gotten from BNI, because there's really deep in learning how to be a good networker and be in relationship with people. And I'm also really appreciating the structure that it provides over time, but I also appreciate the limitations and the politics and the slowness of it and all those things. So I'm growing, I'm opening. The COVID was a big shift for me. I'm also, you know, fun fact, I'm got a black belt in 3 different martial arts. So traditional Taekwondo, Dan Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, and Krav Maga. And I love teaching parents and kids to practice together with games and drills. I'm not about the fighting, I'm about the connection. I love learning the mechanics of our bodies and how they interact together, how to be more aware of your space, improve your ability to respond to situations under stress, and stay calm, stay peaceful, and be in control than react out of fear. So that's a little bit about me. I think that's enough for now. Glad to be here. Hopefully I'll have time to be one of the real raw interviewees. I've got to step off at 2, and hopefully I'll be able to do it again.
Thank you. David, can I jump in for a quick 30?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So again, Sean Callaghy, co-founder of Unblinded and Rah Central at times. So thank you for the feedback. Love it authentically. I was a former BNI president myself. And I often say that BNI was an unbelievably productive space that changed my life. And it gave me access, combining the work of Tony Robbins, Jay Abraham, a book called How to Make a Fortune from Public Speaking, as well as Jerry Spence's How to Argue and Win Every Time. And that work combined helped me build a 40-person law firm 2 years out of law school on my credit card. And the rah-rah is entirely authentic. One could trace me back to my high school football locker room, to my captain of the Columbia baseball team. And I am at times introverted, quiet, and reflective, and at times on fire. So I think that is a disruptive pattern that can be very effective for behavioral change, but I completely understand and get all the different styles of learning, connecting, and accelerating. And I honor the work of Ivan Meisner. I honor the work of BNI. And it's awesome that it works for so many beautiful people. I just think there's slight distinctions in how I would advocate for what one would do with the people in those groups, and from there. So that's all. So thank you for the awesome feedback. David, back to you.
Awesome. Well, we'll carry on the BNI theme, and I'll go to Adam Dixon. It's how we cross paths, but a great guy, funny guy, and all-around good human being. Adam, go for it.
Thanks, Dave. And thank you all for having me. This is my first time here. And my name's Adam Dixon. I think between Damon and myself, we have heard every single dick joke under the sun in middle school. And when I'm not being a funny, nice guy, according to Dave, I'm a business lawyer. I usually spend my days helping companies that are newly formed raise capital, deal with venture capitalists, with their employees, with their major counterparties and contracts, legal stuff, you know. And if I were to give one fun fact about me, it is that I play guitar in Central Park in my spare time.
Boom.
Amazing. With that, I know Jay's got his guitar too. I figured he'd be pulling it out as well. Adam, great to have you here.
Thank you.
Let's go up to Boston. Mary Beth, drop in. How are things?
All right. Hi, everybody. Mary Beth Lynch. I own a management consulting company, and what we do is we boost productivity across the value chain. What value chain? Our clients are the biotech and pharmaceutical companies, and we mostly work with the folks that are responsible to execute the clinical trials that we hear so much about in the news now as the race for the COVID-19 vaccine is on. And on our JD Power approved client satisfaction survey, we have a 9.8 out of 10. So our philosophy is it all starts and ends with client satisfaction. So glad to be here. My fun fact, I am on the cover of a CD. Yeah, back when we had CDs. My dad is from Dublin and has a band for a living. And we just went at a photo shoot for one of his albums. We just went to take a cute father-daughter shot. And it ended up, the name of the CD is Shamrock and the Rose. And people said, oh, we get it. He's the Shamrock, she's the Rose. We're like, yeah, totally. That's totally it. So my awkward stage perm and braces, about 13 years old, is on the front of a CD cover.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Can we see Sean's CD cover? Does Sean have it in front of him?
Are you guys busting my
Dawson's Creek CD cover?
All right, we're flowing through this. Who's up next? Richie Vasquez, also another former BNI connection, but through a good friend of ours. Jump in.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. So it's my first time on the show. As many others, I was a part of BNI Chapter 44, was the president for 3 years. Adam Dixon, myself, David Rush were in the same group together. Branched off after leaving to move to Long Island from New York City and created my own networking group that didn't have the weekly requirement of BNI. Actually, fun fact is we have a socially distant 5K fundraiser that we are hosting in Long Island City this upcoming Saturday. Yes, the same day that Jason Barash is actually going to be getting married. So fun fact about him. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder there. But yeah, for anyone who would like to join, it'll be this Saturday. We're meeting up at the Pepsi sign in Long Island City. There will be PPE that is going to be provided to everybody to create a safe environment so that we can continue the 5K and fundraising efforts for those that need the money the most. So that this Saturday. What I do professionally is I'm a wealth and risk management advisor, and I help business owners identify ways that they can reduce their risk, grow their wealth, and increase their bottom line. Another fun fact is I've actually been robbed twice at work, one of which was at a bank before the age of 18. So we could get into details at a future time, and I'm happy to go over that over a cocktail or two.
Very good. All right, moving along. Well, another Saturday is also my better half Victoria's birthday, so there's a lot of things going on Saturday. So happy birthday to her as well. I'll move on to Tim Duffy. Jump in. How are things with you? We've had limited exposure, but you're a good friend of a good friend, and I've had a great time getting to know you.
Well, thanks so much, Dave, and I appreciate everybody being on this call. It sounds like a fantastic group of wonderful people in this whole success mindset realm. Just to tell you a little bit about me, again, Tim Duffy. I've spent the last 2 decades really in the leadership development area, where I basically helped grow one of the largest collegiate leadership societies in the country called National Society of Leadership and Success. I was like the director of sales. I moved on to do different departments from account management, but now I've left that company, and now I'm working with a partner and friend of mine, Lindsay Nagy, and we basically established a startup called Eco Enterprise. And its mission is to help save businesses and nonprofits money and drive sustainability. And so how we do that is we, at no cost to businesses or nonprofits, we find them money that they have hiding, whether it's they're overpaying on utility bills, sales tax, they're, finding them inefficiencies of payroll, and we're going to get them like thousands upon thousands of dollars back. And now that they get all that money back, we want them to use that towards green, sustainable technologies, and because people want to go green but don't want to spend any money towards it, and so we have a number of cutting edge technologies in that space. And the other fun fact about me is Dave Rush knows about this, that I volunteer my time with Landmark Worldwide. I'm one of the head coaches. So there's a 4-month self-expression and leadership program. I've been in that program for over 5 years. So I'm one of the head coaches that trains the coaches on how to, be a person of influence and actually make positive change in the world. So that's a little bit about me. And the other fun fact is I have 5 animals living in my house. I have 2 dogs and 3 black cats. And the reason why I have so many is because my wife's a veterinarian technician. She works at Animal Medical Center in New York City. And I just couldn't say no. And yeah, it's a zoo over here. So that's just a little bit about me.
That's awesome. Very good. Welcome. Sean, I know we're flying through this. We have clearly have to get to the actual activity here, but let's go. Michael Redmond, we've connected recently through Joseph, and you're an incredible person doing big things up in the world, cyber and otherwise. Jump in.
Thanks. Well, I actually have 2 separate businesses. One of them is risk management, which is a consulting firm, been in business for 15 years. Do consulting around the world. Did a project recently in Kenya. I just did a proposal for Egypt. So I'm kind of exciting. But I have, we do business continuity, disaster recovery, cybersecurity. My other business is I found that so many people that I was working with were stressed, not feeling great. I was working with executives, CEOs, the CISO. They weren't dealing well. And I said, I need to help them. So I wanted to play full out. So I did a full PhD in psychology on behavioral management and started working as I was studying the course. I finished 10 years ago with my PhD. So as I was studying, I started doing the business. And I have, as a past platinum partner, am very blessed to have had many, many, many platinum partners as clients, people that are starting their own businesses. And what I specialize in is helping people feel the way they want to feel. If that's more confident, if that's more happy, or if there's an issue, or they might be having something where they're just not able to do something. So I do a 10-week plan with them, and we use a combination of meditation and tapping. And because I have 2 MBAs, we also throw a lot of business in there also. So it's a good program, and I've been doing it virtually for 10 years. So I have clients around the world. So those are my 2 lives. My fun fact is I'm a retired lieutenant colonel, 4 years active duty, and then the rest of it was National Guard and Reserve. So that's my fun fact.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Very impressive. David.
All right, moving along. Rajiv, jump in. Rajiv and I met recently at a Toastmasters meeting, and then we started a podcast and so many other things, but he's up to big things in the world. Go for it.
Yeah, thanks, David. Thanks for the invitation. Hi, everyone. Happy to be here. I know some of you, and that's awesome to see some familiar smiling faces. My name is Rajiv Jadhav. I'm the CEO of R Square Media. We're an award-winning online visibility and reputation management company that helps clients be seen or not be seen online. We initially deliver hope to the hopeless. What that means is we can help you dominate Google, be number 1 on Google, be the only one on Google, or if you need something removed from Google, we can help you with that too. And by remove, I mean delete. So that's basically what we do. We won the 2017 Minority Business of the Year Award in the company of Con Edison and MTA for championing small and minority-owned business. Fun fact is I recently gave a speech at the United Nations on the role of coaching and technology to solve homelessness, which was well received by several governments in attendance, specifically Nigeria and Malawi, that reached out to me to help them solve child homelessness in their country, which triggered me to set up a nonprofit called Bright Now, whose mission is to help children see beyond their circumstance and embrace the concept of dreaming, and to align them with resources to help them pursue their dreams until fruition. We incorporated just soon after my speech, which was on Valentine's Day this year. We have a fairly growing advisory board, as well as we got our 501c3 certification. We're Gold Star rated on GuideStar, as well as TechSoup verified as well. So we're trying to make the world a better place, and we have 3 active projects, one in Brazil, one in LA, and one in Malawi, which is currently on hold because of the pandemic. Yeah, and I'm really happy to be here, and I'm hoping to make connections with all of you and explore synergies and to see how all of us together can make the world a better place. Thank you. Back to you, David.
Amazing, Rajiv. That was just like the podcast. Back to you, David. And I just learned so much about you, and we've been interacting for 6 months. It's crazy. But thank you for being here. I'll jump in with Elaine. We've connected recently through Joseph, and she's got this energy. She's got jokes. She's also dedicated to really making other people shine as well. So Elaine, go for it.
Wow. Well, I want to connect with everybody. I was like, oh, I was in Manhattan, and then I moved to New Jersey, and the first few months were rough, but now I'm good. I've been to LBI and Asbury and Ocean Grove, and I have a lot of sober sisters who teach me all the nuances, because every beach has its own personality. So I am a video and a visibility coach. My company is Captivate the Crowd, and I love helping people find their expression and have freedom. My background is in the arts. I have 2 degrees in drama, and I'm also a stand-up comedian, and I'm so jonesing to go have a real show again. I'm like, I miss it. I've been doing Zoom things, but it's not the same. And I'm also very passionate, Craig. I want to talk to you. I've been in recovery for 20 years. I'm so grateful. And I'm so passionate about having people tell their stories, be witnessed so they can heal and stop the shaming and all the negative self-talk, so we can get on with more important things in the world, like feeding children and helping them have homes. And, I just think, oh my gosh, if we could solve some of these issues, we could change the world. So that's my big vision.
Amazing.
I'm excited to be here. And I'm a little nervous. David. It's my second Real Raw, and the first one was kind of rough. So I'm like, okay, take two.
This will be a smoother landing, I'm sure. All right. Thanks for being.
Hopefully.
Last but not least, we're at the home stretch. We're going to get into it in just a moment. But Jason Barash, jump in. We were connected through a couple of different ways, and then we crossed paths again. But he's doing amazing things in the entertainment world and beyond. And clearly, he's about to get married.
Awesome. So there's my fun fact, which I'll start off. A couple of years ago, I met a girl at a networking event, and we are getting married on Saturday night. So that's super exciting. And I forgot about something, so that's why I was late. We had to run into Manhattan to pick something up for this weekend. But I own a company called Center Aisle Tickets. We're currently rebranding to include the word experiences. And what we normally do is we create and curate experiences around live events, concerts, theaters, sporting events, major events worldwide, everything from a simple ticket to go into the event to a VIP experience that includes meeting the talent, whether it be a professional athlete on the Giants or the Giant game, or, one of the musicians after the show. So we've obviously been drastically affected by Corona, and we now offer live and interactive virtual events, everything from concerts with A-list musicians, cooking demonstrations with celebrity chefs, virtual magic and mentalism shows, and, a variety of virtual tastings, virtual wine tastings, where we ship everybody wine and bring on a somm to kind of educate you on what to look for when you're tasting wine. And tomorrow night, there will be 16,000 fans in Kansas City for a Chiefs game. So we're hoping that's a positive start to bring back people to live events that feel safe and comfortable going, as long as it's made safe and comfortable for everybody. So very happy to be here and excited to see what's to come.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for being here, Jason. Sean, we're good through the introductions. How do we want to segue in?
Yeah, well, brother, let me tell you this. Influence mastery is in the air. Like, what an incredible group. First of all, your leadership is present. Your influence mastery is present. But what a remarkable group, dude. Like, this is about Real Raw Open, or Real Raw number 135-ish. And this is an extraordinary one. I mean, this is like top 5, clearly. Great job, David.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, just quick drop in on like what, David, actually, if you don't mind sharing, what have you told people? Like, what is this? Some people have been here before, so I could just speak into that for a minute and then we'll rock and roll.
Yeah, I shared with everybody that this was going to be a dynamic group of people. Clearly, we've demonstrated that, and that we would also be focusing on a role play type situation where people have the opportunity to figure out who their avatar is, have that conversation, and get some feedback in terms of influence and how we impact others inside of that.
Awesome. So if I can speak into that for a minute and then we'll go. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Sean Calloway again. I grew up not having any understanding that influence mattered, although it was incredibly ironic since the athletic coaches that I played for were some of the most incredible integrous influencers imaginable. Was unbelievably blessed. Went to Columbia University to play baseball, hoped to go on to play professionally, but I have retinitis pigmentosa and I am legally blind. I'm actually on the board of the American Foundation for the Blind in our 100th anniversary year. And so I had to figure out, what do I do from here? My dreams were crushed. I didn't really study a lot at Columbia. I wasn't a partier, but I was studying athletics. So I decided that I go to law school because I'm like, I don't know what else to do. So I came out of law school and I thought I won the game of law school. Because I thought the idea was get the best job you could working for somebody somewhere. And I realized pretty quickly that the people who were happy were those that generated business. And to me, that was like a nightmare awakening because I thought nothing could be more horrific and disgusting than selling. And that began a journey in my life. I quit my job 6 months later. I started my own law firm on a credit card. I was the first person in my direct family line to go to college. Had no idea how to develop business. I'm like, you know what? If this book by Tony Robbins, this stuff by Jay Abraham, Napoleon Hill, Dale Carnegie, Jerry Spence, all these people, if it actually works, I'm going to find out or die trying. And if I lose, I'm going to go back. I'll be broke for my entire life because I have $100,000 of law school debt, and I'll coach high school baseball and football until I go completely blind. So that was the plan. It worked. I built a 40-person law firm quickly. I realized influence is a superpower, and I realized everybody I was encountering was a beautiful, innocent, wonderful, incredible soul who simply didn't have the optics that I had from putting some of this stuff together. I'm like, I'm going to build a formula because I think that personal development, coaching, networking, all these things are beautiful, unbelievable ideas. But my coaching school, my coaching class, there was 36 graduates. At that point from my school, there was 1,000 graduates. It was early stages, very well-known, prominent school. And none of those people were building a coaching business. They were incredible people. None of them could have clients. They had no idea how to build it. And the same formula that helped build the law firm, I built a very uniquely successful, the most successful, in fact, out of anybody, I believe, to date who's ever graduated from there within 3 months, coaching program. It's allowed me also to have 2 top 100 national jury verdicts, one of only 2 attorneys in the country out of 1.2 million within 2014 and 16, and the only one that was blind. And I've spoken at 7 of the last 8 Tony Robbins events on stage. I heard Platinum Partnership. I have the privilege of being a Platinum partner and a Lion. And in fact, we'll be with the Lions this weekend in Arizona in a mini live event. This entire program is designed to unlock influence as a superpower and give each and every one of you amazing people, and you've already done it, the ability to demonstrate your congruent uniqueness so people become curious. Every single person here did it, right? You have that. 99.99% of the world does not possess what you have. And our mission here collectively together is, as a number of you said, is to come together to find ways to impact the world and bring this forward. David, you're a genius. These people are incredible. So back to you, brother, and let's rock and roll.
All right. So we're going to kick it off, Sean, and we're going to go right into the role play, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, please.
All right. And I know that Rich and Damon actually have to leave by 2, so hard stops there. I'll throw Damon in first, and then we'll go to Rich. Rich, if you do have a couple extra minutes just to tail on. But we'll go from there. Sean, do you want to introduce how we're doing this? Or
yeah, sure. Just one sec. So you said it beautifully, David. Dude, you're driving this unbelievably. Thank you. This is inspiring for me. So yeah, it's 3 minutes and it's hello to yes. The whole concept is yes is what unlocks everything in the world. Marriages, divorces, unlocks or crushes, countries, businesses, everything we can think of. All the big problems in the world are solved by yes or they're not solved by yes. So who is that avatar? Is anybody you want? Who's the role player, David? It's you, right?
Yeah, I'll be the role player. Yep.
Cool.
And
So
David's going first.
Yeah, anybody that you want him to be. It's just a yes that matters to you in the world. It's not boiler room. It's not a sale. It's integrous, heart-centered influence to go from hello to yes with David. He could be David. He could be an ideal client. He could be the president of a country. Anybody, head of a charity, head of an organization to donate to a charity. What is it that you'd like him to say yes to? But just remember, there's no trick to this. This is assessing your ability to connect and get to yes. It doesn't have to be the ultimate yes in 3 minutes. If it's 3 minutes, it may very best be a longer meeting. So I would suggest really focusing on a longer meeting. So there could be like, what would it be like if you had 3 minutes to talk to somebody that you really need to get a longer meeting with? Because you can impact their life beautifully. They can impact your life beautifully. What would that experience look like in 3 minutes? That's the game. So David, please, who's first?
All right, Damon, you're up. You want to tell me who I am, and then we'll get into a conversation.
Who you are. As I know you, you're part of our 10 by 10.
No, but no, I mean, do you want me to be me, or do you want me to be some outside of the role play?
No, I'm quite happy for you to be you.
Okay, perfect. Well, then we'll jump right in. Sean, are you timing, or how should we do that?
Will, you hear an alarm go off with 1 minute to go, 30 seconds to go, and the end of the 3 minutes. Not a hard stop, soft stop, but you'll hear 3 alarms. Please.
All right.
So David, we've had the opportunity to meet and connect a couple of times now through our 10 by 10. And I'm still loving to know what really turns you on. Like, what do you really want most in the world for yourself?
Well, it's funny when I hear you talking and introducing yourself a lot of the times, I say to myself, like, that's a lot of what I want, because I love working with people. I also love impacting lives and having other people step into their greatness. So what it looks like for me is, yeah, I love the individual coaching, but also want to have a broader platform. Unleash the Rush is something that's a brainstorm, but what does that mean beyond that is actually discovering and uncovering it a little bit more.
So what I'm hearing you say is you're looking to still develop your platform to reach more people and help them make a difference in their own lives, to impact the world in bigger ways. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
What do you feel is the biggest piece either missing or that you know you need to implement to take the next step?
I think creating a more powerful presence in different online forums, more stages and microphones inside of, you know, what we're talking about here in terms of Unblinded, and then just having a broader reach and my own unique content and message.
Well, and I hear that you have multiple, what I'm hearing you say is a broader reach in multiple different arenas, and a message. If you had to pick one to start and focus and kind of refine everything that you want to do to then scale, where would you want to focus and start?
It's a good
From
question.
all that you know of, that's known to you.
Yeah, I don't want to say I want to be Tony Robbins when I'm wearing a shirt like him, but I do want to be somebody who is on a more massive scale. That it's not that I have to be on a stage necessarily, and I've thought about that, but it's more about that can I broaden my exposure rather than one-on-one, but creating a platform where I can expand upon the impact I'm trying to have.
And just to go a little deeper with that, why is that important to you personally? So how's this going to impact you once you're able to do that, once you're able to have that platform and make this impact that you're wanting to make?
You know, I've looked at this, and Sean's hit me with this too. It's that, like, I've had a struggle over my life of being self-expressed, of actually feeling felt and connecting with people, to be honest, like really like genuinely connecting with people from a heartfelt place. And I know a lot of other people challenged with that, and that's the difference I want to make for people, is that we get out of our head and into our heart more often.
Beautiful. Is that something that you're looking to practice more, being able to just practice connecting one-on-one with someone and developing those heart connections?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Would you, that's something I actually really love to do and is a big part of my life. Was that something you'd like to explore with me in more depth time? We don't have a whole lot of time now, but schedule even a couple of hours of really quality time to dive into that and talk more on how we can first start together and then share that with others.
Yeah, I'd love to explore that. That sounds great.
Awesome. I would too.
All right. Awesome job. Damon, how did that feel for you?
It felt good, although I didn't realize I was going to be the one asking the questions. I thought I was going to be the interviewee, but it's all good. It's wonderful. I enjoyed it.
Did an awesome job. So David, want to kick it to the judges for a little bit of feedback?
Yeah. Let's go to Jay. I know you've been itching there. You got a lot of energy. Give us a little taste of what you saw there.
Hey guys, I do have a hard stop. I'm sorry. I hope this is recorded and I'll be able to listen, but I've got to step off and serve a client.
Awesome. Thank you, Damon, and we'll be recorded, so you'll be able to see it.
Thank you, Damon.
Yeah.
So I'm going to speak from my from my goddess spot right now and be in my heart. What's up, Sean? How are you?
What's up, brother? Thank you so much for your beautiful gift. You're amazing. Thank you.
Go Emerson. I see the E on the hat. So check it out. Really good questions from Damon. He was using his own words, a broader reach. He started to bring in the same message that David was saying. What I would say is he was definitely I would give him an 8.9, and what I would say would boost that up a little bit more inflection in his voice. He had great tonality, but it seemed to be, he met David at where he was, but he could have brought him a little bit more energy towards the end to get him excited. And then the only other thing, David even said it himself, people want to be seen, heard, and felt like they're understood. So just a couple more real quick acknowledgments of David would have, to me, amplified that to like a 9.5.
Awesome job, Jay. David?
All right, Joseph, jump in.
Yeah, I thought David did a great job. He assumed rapport right away, heart-centered. He repeated what you said. The call to action was very clear. He went deep as far as questions go. And and I also like the call to action, how we embraced a little leverage in there too, as far as working together 2 hours and then sharing with others. At least that's what I heard. I give him an 8.5. And I also would say too, that if you could match your energy a bit more, like pace your reality, and and in terms of the energy goes, that would really add things up quite a bit. 8.5 was what I would get. What I would give Damon.
Yeah, Joseph, pleasure to see you. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you, Sean. Great to be here.
Yeah. So, David, who's up next, my friend?
We've got Rich. I know he's got a hard stop at 2. He's extended that, and then
please
go for it, Rich.
All right. So I have to define who you are. So you will be David Rush, aka D Rush. We met through BNI, so we'll keep that as a constant.
That's not the nickname, Rich.
So right, it's Big D. Big D is the nickname.
All right,
but that'll be a separate story. So we met at BNI. Let's pretend that we weren't at the same. We weren't in the same chapter, and that we passively met at a BNI function or gathering. Much like us other BNIers that share that commonality. So does that work?
Yeah. We're just passing in the night, but we're common BNI experience. Yeah.
Rich, awesome.
Right.
Take us in, please.
All right, great. Hey, so Dave, it's a pleasure to meet you. How did you get connected to BNI, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm forgetting the name, but I know he's one of the heads of the New York empire around BNI, and he suggested that I check out your club back in the day.
That's fantastic. And was it by chance Todd Symbol?
That's the guy. Yep.
All right. Yeah, Todd's definitely big personality. For
sure. Yeah. All I got was email, but it was big email personality.
All caps, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Great. Well, you got to love his energy. So he's thinking about BNI 365. He's always looking to improve all of the relationships through the connections of people at BNI. So, David, what do you do? What do you do professionally?
Well, yeah, I'm a coach. I'm a consultant. I work with people to improve how they show up in the world, how they communicate, they get their message across, and create more impact inside of those conversations.
That's great. And do you have a recent success story that you'd like to share? I'd love to know more about how you were doing that with individuals, clients, prospects, to see if I can be helpful in any way.
Yeah, well, one was a fund manager. So they raise funds, but these guys are really intelligent, super smart, but they have a tough time whittling down their communication to actually be effective in a sales conversation, to hit the pain points, hit the understanding of who they're in front of, rather than just dumping information. And that's something I was able to help a bunch of people recently in a session with.
That's great. And do you do that through role play sessions?
There is some role play, there's some video, there's some feedback, there's all kinds of things that we employ.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I love that. I think that experiential learning is definitely advantageous for sure. So, David, what are you looking to get out of your time here at BNI through the function that you are attending right now? How can I be helpful to you? What are you looking to accomplish?
Well, I have some key avatars, people who know people, and one of my key people that I'm looking to meet are ones that know the heads of training and development, people inside of large organizations. And if I can find somebody who knows a lot of those people, that would be my ideal contact, because then that gives me a warm lead into a lot of different places that I'm looking to build business.
Yeah, sure. And would HR directors fit that category?
Yeah, 100%. It's either HR or training and development. Different organizations have them split up differently.
Sure. Well, that's great. So, David, if I may ask you, what's your target goal? If we were to look at metrics, is there a certain metric that you need to hit over a 12 to 24 month period of time that would help you hit your goal and objective?
Well, I have at least goal of 5 new clients this year, building beyond that next year. And corporate clients, as you know, is a longer sales process. It's not, hey, we have a conversation, it works out. There's balance sheet, there's appetite, there's funding, all of that stuff.
Sure. Well, the reason I'm asking you that, David, is I actually also created my own networking organization called the Executive Partners Group, and I'd love to invite you to our upcoming meetings. There are a couple of HR professionals through our various chapters, and would love to see how I can make introductions if you're open to it.
Well, I know you're a magician in the networking world, so I'd be happy to join forces and check that out.
All right, fantastic. Really appreciate it, David, and hopefully we can help you get to your 5 client goal for the year.
Awesome. Well done. We'll go to the judges. Sean, that work?
Yeah, awesome. Rich, great job. Yeah, so let maybe reverse it. We have 3 judges or 2, David?
We did, but Craig had to jump off. He might not be with us right now, so we'll go with Joseph and Jay, and then when Craig jumps back on, we can rotate in.
Awesome. So Joseph, what do you have?
Yeah, I give you a 9. Great job, Rich. Overall, just instant connection, build rapport, commonalities, success story, getting David on a peak, kind of experience of sorts, and metrics. I love that as far as like envisioning, forecasting where he wants to be and so forth, and going for the offer as far as the opportunity goes. So a 9. I mean, in terms of improvement, really not much more to say than that. I thought the action was very clear. So a 9.
Thank you.
Awesome job, Jay.
All right. So great job. Great job, Rich. What I will say is I love the check-in when you first spoke to him. You had great energy. You were clear on his goals. Where I would say the area for growth would be, that would take you from what I gave you as a 9.1 to probably a 9.9. There was one point where David said something about he was able to help people. And to me, that's a unique characteristic of a lot of people is leading with helping first. So to me, I would have acknowledged that, asked him, what does it look like for you to help people? And then finding in step 2, discovering his pain, what does it look like if you couldn't fulfill and help these people? And I think that would have drove him into a different place. The second meeting, you would have gotten to all those goals, but this first meeting, I think you would have connected a little bit deeper. And that would have potentially drawn you as more unique and more congruently unique, and, driving you towards him.
Yeah.
So I give you a 9. I think it's a 9.1.
Thank you.
Good job.
Rich, awesome job. And this is for everybody. I know, Rich, you're going to jump. There's 4 energies of influence. Look at everybody from Bruce Springsteen to Tony Robbins to Oprah Winfrey, anybody you've ever seen, Martin Luther King, etc. Fun, aspirational, like going somewhere, goddess, heart-centered, present, loving, Zeus, decisive, clear. And just that energetic variance we'll be looking at for its presence. And Rich, fantastic job. So we'll be looking at that throughout. So Rich, thank you for being here. David, back to you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Rich. See you
Take care.
soon. And I'll jump up to Massachusetts. Mary Beth, how are we doing? Switching the backgrounds. I like it.
Now let's go with this one for the role play. All right, great. Okay, so yeah, so what I was looking for, David, was someone that has the profile is they know, like, and trust me, and they have a network of powerful people. So I thought that fit you, but I just wanted to confirm.
I think that fits. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. And okay, good. Okay, good.
So good. I'll just be me then. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if you can be you, that would be great.
All right, Mary Beth, you have 3 minutes. Take us in.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Okay. So David, as we were interacting on Joseph's awesome Success Circles organization as accountability buddies, you were hearing me build my, wanting to further build out the pipeline. And I thought that if we could take some time to educate you about what it is I do, because I'm not sure I make it clear what it is I do to powerfully set you up to refer us. Should you have people in your network to do that?
Yeah, that sounds good. We've had a number of interactions, but we really haven't dug into exactly what it is you're up to and looking to do.
Yeah. So all right, great, thanks. So to say a little bit about what we do, I like to draw the analogy with a game of pool, like shooting pool.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like if you think of clinical trials and the race that happens with clinical trials as like a pool tournament. And, if you kind of picture all these different pool tables next to each other and everybody's in their teams and playing, and, there's a part before the tournament would start that you want to put your strategy together and how are we going to win? And then during, the tournament, you want to be executing your strategy as best as possible, adjust. And the uniqueness about pool is it's not just, they have to say, what ball in what pocket and get it right. But in this race, in this tournament race of one game, you have to do it as fast as possible. So that's like the clinical trial race. Does that translate as an analogy?
Yeah, but the space you're in is clinical trials, or where are you focusing your efforts?
Yeah. So what we do is we provide project management and coaching to the folks that are getting ready to execute a clinical trial and to execute it. And so we're right there helping them prepare. And what that looks like could be, okay, these are corporations. So what kind of processes are we going to follow? Do we have the best technology, right? Do we have the best strategy to win? And then throughout the clinical trial, working with them to win the game. So an example in pool would be like a break, right? If you had a really great break, you accelerate the speed of the game. Right. So something we did, like we helped a company in Alzheimer's recruit patients into a study, faster than anyone had before. And that accelerated the trial because now they knew when they could go to the FDA for approval. And actually that drug for Alzheimer's is with the FDA right now. So I just wanted to check, is that translating?
Yeah. So it sounds like you're like the supercharger for boosting clinical trials, or when we have to get ready to launch, like you're helping manage that process and driving it forward with some kind of efficiency and speed.
Yeah, that's right. So as you move about and think about your network, is there people in your network that come to mind to introduce me to?
So the ideal avatar would be what? Like somebody who's in that space with a company that's looking to launch, or somebody else? Like what would be that specific?
So they would work awesome. So they work at a biotech or pharmaceutical company within research and development. They could work on the IT side. They could work on the business side. But yeah, folks that work within research and development at those companies.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely give it some thought, dig into my database and think about who that might be. And if you want to send me some more information about it, I can keep that a little more top of mind for sure.
Yeah, we're a niche for sure. So I know it's not everybody, but being in Manhattan, if you listen for the Pfizer folks, that might there might be some there.
All right, excellent job, Mary Beth. Mary Beth, how'd that feel for you?
It's okay. I appreciate the practice. Appreciate the opportunity to practice.
Excellent, David. We've been through 3 folks. Do you want to give just a quick overview for how you're feeling about things so far? And any what's going well, what optimizations might be present for these first 3 folks?
Yeah, no, some good energy, good conversations, and just like I could tell that there's a lot of caring, concern, and heart there. And then just maybe being a little, like Mary Beth, I would just say a little bit more clear on who that ideal is and what the outcome from the conversation might be. Like maybe it is we step aside into a broader conversation and talk more about who those people are, would just be my quick suggestion inside of that. But outside of that, all good, Sean.
Excellent, sir. Jay Levine, what do you got, brother?
All right, Mary Beth, great job. This is not an easy task for sure. Sean, I just want to confirm with you. Can you hear her smile and energy? You can.
Yes, I can feel that and hear that. Yes.
Okay. So energy was fantastic. Her HUI was fantastic. I would say it could get tighter. And what I would also say is your unique heroic identity, which was amazing. is step 3 in the steps. So what I would spend more time on is building that initial rapport and asking more questions. And when I heard, the rule is the 2/3 rule, 2/3 of the conversation, David should be talking, and then the third should be yours. And what I would do is I heard David's uncertainty at times, and I would step into that further and be like, you said yes, but are you really clear? Otherwise, honestly, I would say you're an 8.9 with an easy, small few distinctions to be in the high 9s for sure.
Excellent job, Jay. Joseph, what do you got, brother?
Maybe I give you 9.1. You assume rapport right away as far as your relationship with David goes. I love the pool analogy and how you kind of constructed that. The metaphor is fantastic with that. I would probably just add a little more pausing in there in the midst of that. Maybe get a little more feedback from David through the pause. That's one thing I'd offer you as far as feedback goes. And you mentioned the example with the client, FDA approval, and so forth. Perhaps if you could also state the further outcome, perhaps it impacted people, their lives, saved lives when that product came to market. I find that in nature rapport and these conversations, hearing an outcome of that sort, the impact on community and so forth, it connects to the heart a bit more. So that's what I'd offer you as feedback. Otherwise, great. 9.1 is what I give you.
All right. Excellent. Great job, Mary Beth. My quick feedback, and I'll drop in a little bit more deeply after the next person for a moment or two, would just be what's in it for David, right? So whenever we're going from hello to yes integrously, there's a value exchange between people. It doesn't be money. It's not transactional, but what's there and what's present. Was David seen, heard, understood? Does it matter? What's his dreams? What's his visions? So whenever we're communicating with other people, authentically being present to who they are, what they need, where they're going, is a beautiful entry point to see how we can satisfy that and perhaps find ways to get what we need. But Mary Beth, your energy is phenomenal. So David, back to you.
Awesome. We're going to go to a former Canadian, now a New Jerseyan, my good friend Julian, jumping in. Who do you want me to be?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I'll answer the appropriate way. In terms of what I'm thinking, it's actually quite specific. I'll try to keep it short. I've got an engagement with an existing client, but this engagement has sort of grown into what I would call the umbrella corporation. So I'm trying to get to that umbrella corporation. And you're one of the people who's basically brought us in and hired us in. And I'm trying to do a follow-up call with that person. I'm going to call them Jay. I'm going to struggle at not mentioning brand names on this. I know it's being recorded, so I might stutter or fumble due to that. But I'm just going to call you Jay for now. You're based in Toronto. As a former Canadian, you'll probably know where I'll start off. But that's pretty much what I'm looking for from this. And what I'm seeking is for you to open up communication into some targets that I've identified within, we'll call it the parent company.
That is one of the most articulate, specific, and clear setups that's ever happened on The Real Raw. That should be like a model for all people to watch. Great job. Take us in, sir.
I'm ending on a high note. That's all we got. We're out. All right. Okay. I'll start for real. Okay. Hey, Jay, how are things? How are things going?
Good. Interesting times we're in, but we're moving along, shifting as it comes.
Yeah. So listen, on the heels of Megan having worked with you and some of your team, you being a part of the training and the coaching, I thought it would be something important for us to discuss around essentially expanding what that could look like for you. I wanted to first start by asking you a couple of questions around Toronto specifically. So in terms of working in Toronto, what is it like for you in Toronto? What's the business culture like for you there? And are there any challenges potentially with working or selling into the Americas?
Well, yeah, we've tried to navigate these waters, but the Americas are a challenge for us. Just the connectivity, it's not always as robust as it could be. I'm also really frustrated that I haven't been able to go to the hockey games, which were stationed in Toronto as well. So that's been something that's also been on my mind, but we don't need to dig into that.
Well, now that I'm over here, hockey almost doesn't exist. I'm embarrassed to say that. I haven't watched or kept up, but the Raptors, I will say, are something we're watching and happy and proud and waving flags about here. More refining that question to be clear. I know the culture in Canada works a certain way. You've got a great network. We've seen what you guys have done and the growth you've been on, and it's just something that deserves applaud. In terms of the US side of things, what you had discussed with us and worked with Megan was refining some of the approaches for your Canadians in working in Boston and with JH specifically. So if we could drill down into some of the things that could be added on to a future engagement, what would you say needs to be adjusted or improved on?
Well, I think they almost like what we're doing here is really elevating their ability to influence and impact whoever it is that they're in front of, and refining that even more. I know we did some high level cursory stuff, but I think something that might be even more custom made to our people and what our core issues are, and we could dig into that a little deeper, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned hockey. So when we think about coaching and training, we want to refine the process, make it effective, provide some efficiency. So if you think about stick handling is a big part of the game. Your skating and all these other pieces come together. But for you, in defining that stick handling, getting best and the most out of a training engagement, what would it look like for you for expanding this footprint within X company to grow some of the engagements with Templar so that we could get in front of more of the Toronto team and guide them through that process? What would need to be changed? What would need to be improved for them?
Do you mean in terms of how I would position it to them, or what specifically?
So we did the video pieces, we refined with one-to-one coaching, we did some group engagement, we did one-to-one. I know there wasn't much on follow-on. So in other words, increasing the level of engagement with us. Maybe it was a cost initiative. In future, if you could wave a magic wand and get what it is you would like, what would that look like? What would the program entail, or what would an add-on potentially look like for you?
Well, I think one of our frustrations in training in general is it's like one-off. So how do we get that traction longer term at a cost-effective price? And that's not always an easy answer because of budget, right? So that's something that is really top of mind. How do I get dynamic change rather than just being a one-off in one ear out the other?
Yeah, and you know, when I think about this, I think, how could I present that to someone? And so what I was envisioning is potentially you and I working together, me helping you get there with that, specifically with you, Jay, and seeing what that follow-on piece could look like. Once we identify what that piece looks like and develop it between you and I think we could look at how to develop that program and get in front of the right people. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in exploring with me?
10 seconds.
I want to look good, and clearly, I'd love to build out something collectively that allows me to do it more seamlessly.
And the last piece would have been, I've identified a few people I think that we could help with this, and would you help put me in touch with them, is where I would have gone with that, Sean.
Yeah, well, dude, awesome job. So how'd that feel for you, Damon?
It felt a little choppy and rushed. I wouldn't have done it in 3 minutes, to be clear. Having said that, it's fun to be under the microscope because I do this to a lot of people, and it was good to get that sort of adrenaline and energy.
Yeah, awesome job. Listen, it was an ambitious undertaking in the time frame. You're awesome. So it was just, of course, certain parts getting a little bit rushed because you haven't played the game in the 3-minute time block as many times, but you're outstanding, clearly. I mean, masterful. Let's drop in. Joseph, what you have?
Great. So fantastic job, Julian. 9.3, my friend. It's my rating. Create the frame pretty well. Existing client, sports metaphor. I appreciated that too as well. Also, like the hockey stick. And his semi-objection was run the budget, and you kind of brought that back in. Let's cooperate together. Let's collaborate together to get more buy-in. So, fantastic job. 9.3 is what I give you overall. And if I could give you more constructive feedback, maybe keeping the questions a little more simpler, perhaps. That's one thing that came to mind because there was a little bit back and forth there. But overall, fantastic job, outstanding.
Joseph, Jay.
Craig is back.
Craig's back if we want to jump in with Craig.
Oh, okay. Craig, you ready, bud?
I can. I didn't get.
Oh yeah,
all-
okay. Let's go, Jay, and then we'll pick up.
Jay, that's up.
Perfect. So, Julian, great job, man. The first thing I wrote down was, questions discovering challenges. So that was great. You were looking for those challenges. He brought up hockey, and you skimmed over it at first. So I was like, got him here. Hockey. You should have talked about hockey. And then you went right back into the stick handling. And it was like, I was like, all right, perfect. I feel complete on that one. You had humor. The question that was most impactful was, what does that look like for you? And that's where he spilled most of his guts. That's where I felt he gave the most information. So leading with questions like that are less specific of the challenges you think he might be having and more like, hey, what are the challenges you're having? And what does that look like? I would go the 9.2 and one distinction: pick a date. Pick a date. Don't leave it as a collaboration. Pick a date.
Awesome job. So just real quick drop in, Julian, awesome. David, everybody. So in each segment that we do like this, we have 100+ hours of content here related to the formula, integrity-based human influence, and what to do with it. So I'm always like, where do we drop in? And this group is so highly trained, so masterful. It's like, where to drop in? And so I look for a pattern. The pattern that I note is head-to-head has been above heart-to-heart. And so, and some folks who are used to working in corporate environments would say like, well, listen, people just want you to get to the bottom line, want you to drop in. And so I want to create an access for folks in a story I don't tell often, probably told it twice, but it fits here perfectly in 60-second version. So we talked about the big jury verdicts, and we were involved in a case where, most people told us we should settle for $1 million, we'd be lucky to get that. And we ended up with a $27 million jury verdict. And in that case, we had one of the most intelligent, unbelievable federal judges in the country. In fact, he was the head of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure Committee for America, right? And federal judges are appointed by the President of the United States. It's a very different deal than a state court judge. So with his wisdom and intellect, this judge had court rules. Like federal judges can make up their own specific court rules. And in his court rules, it said, no emotion in my courtroom. So getting back and responding to the rah-rah comment, which I appreciate fully, right? And some of those modules were a little bit too rah-rah and we were optimizing them. So thank you for the feedback received. Because we have to match and mirror and bring energy with the people as they're participating. So in this case, with the judge, it was like, no emotion. I am an emotional human. And I know that humans decide issues by emotion, not logic. So it's like, well, how does this all fit together? So we go through a month of being together. You couldn't leave the podium, right? You had to stay within the podium in his courtroom. And any, movement towards emotion was not accepted. So go through this entire process. And of course, emotion and logic are bled through every single interaction we have in every single way. So there's with all his wisdom and honor and respect, there is no possibility of disconnecting emotion from logic. So we had to make sure it was delivered subtly, matching and mirroring, with complete and energetic appropriateness and a slow buildup, right, throughout time. When the case ended, right, this incredible judge of wisdom, of logic, the jury foreperson brought the verdict out and said, I had the verdict, and passes it to the judge. And the way this is going to work in his courtroom is he's going to review it, hand it back to the foreperson to then read it, right? He opens it up, starts flipping through. This is an incredibly complex trial, craziness, flipping through, and looks up, looks at me. My vision, this is 4 years ago. My vision was a little bit better. I was still legally blind, but could still perceive him looking at me, right? Like through fog, essentially. And then looks at the other side and goes, as he looks at them, I think I'm going to read this one. And he started reading it and looking back and forth between us, emphasizing certain moments because he was just, he was fair, he was honorable, and he was integrous, and he was completely emotionally engaged. And what he was telling the entire courtroom, particularly the other side, is you came here and you lied. You brought deception into my courtroom, my space, and I am pleased and I'm thankful that justice was done. In every setting, in every situation, no matter what corporate human we encounter, what judge, what human we encounter, heart to heart and emotional dynamics through appropriate matching and mirroring creates exponentially more influence. So I drop in there. David, back to you and the team.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Sean. That was beautiful and well felt here. I have a question just for you, Sean, maybe navigating this. I'm feeling a little bit constrained because we only have about 15 minutes left. We have a number of people to go. Any tips in terms of how we should proceed moving forward?
You know, maybe we have, what, 6 people to go?
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay, so if we can go 6 people, maybe cut it to 2 minutes for time integrity. And like, we'll just speed through, no commentary, get the feedback from the judges and take it from there, unless there's any folks that would love to stay a bit longer. But back to you, your option.
All right, we'll go to the upcoming birthday girl, Victoria. Jump in. We'll do this real rapid fire, quick, even more concision. Here we go.
Okay, so we'll go 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Victoria, please.
David, my love, you are a father. His name is Jose. You have 2 kids. You have previously been involved in therapy, and your wife and you have been part of coaching, and you were referred to me by my good colleague Sandra, and she just says you have to talk to me. The only caveat is that my packages are too expensive, you feel, and you don't know what to do because nothing else has worked.
Victoria, take us in, please.
Hi, Jose. It's Victoria. How are you?
Hey, Victoria. I am okay. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I am so excited to talk to you. Sandra did mention that she gave you my name. Tell me a little bit about how I can help.
Yeah, she mentioned good things, and really just challenged navigating fatherhood and dealing with some unruly kids, and like concern for their well-being, but also it's really doing some damage on me and really being able to like feel okay.
Got it. Well, first of all, thank you so much for giving me a call. I just think that when people are dealing with so many different things like you just described, dealing with what you said, unruly kids, not feeling like yourself, kind of getting lost, reaching out is not the first thing people think to do. So awesome that you did. Tell me a little bit about what's going on. And I think you had mentioned in your email that you previously saw a therapist. What was that experience like?
Well, I mean, there seemed to be some disconnect. Like there was something that wasn't working. I think she was working with the kids, but it just, and then for me, like I was working separately with that particular therapist, and like it just wasn't moving. Nothing was moving for me. I felt like I was kind of spinning in circles, just sharing about what was going on, but there really wasn't any impact.
Got it. So there wasn't any impact in what was actually happening. There wasn't any momentum. That's really discouraging. So, and what would you have liked for there to be?
30 seconds to go.
What would it have looked like?
Like I come out of it and I see a path forward. I see myself feeling better, and also like a lot more empowered around my parenting and like the path the relationship that I have with my kids.
Got it. I really want to acknowledge that. One of the reasons Sandra actually recommended me was probably because this is exactly what I do. I help parents connect to themselves so that they can connect to their kids. Would you be willing to have another conversation with me a little bit longer to explore what that would look like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find some kind of solution here. So if you have something that works and you're highly recommended, I'd love to do that.
I'd love to talk to you too. Thank you so much for your time. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, great energy, Victoria. Awesome. Craig, 30 seconds. What do you have?
Victoria, I thought that was awesome. As soon as he opened up, he started with okay, with like when you asked him how he was, he said okay. And I think that you could have stepped right into that because it already sounded like he was pushing you away before even starting. But as soon as he even brought up the fact that he went through the damage or whatever it was, you did step into it and acknowledge the pain and difficulty of having to reach out at that point in time is really awesome. Also, when you said no momentum and you acknowledged that, he kept mentioning himself, and you could have right away brought in your HUI, which you did right afterwards, but you could have right away brought it in where you are recognizing that it was him that he's looking for the growth in. But I would have given you a 9.2, 9.3 for sure.
Excellent job, Craig. Jay, what do you have for Victoria?
I echo a lot of the things that Craig just said. Great acknowledgments. You did step into what he was talking about with what and you used his words, the one, tiny little optimization in that would have been to reflect back on, damage. What damaged you? Like to like really dive in a little deeper, but you did acknowledge all that. And then because of the time constraint, I will say that you went right into your unique heroic identity, and you said, well, great, because this is what I do for people. Like this is your problem. I solve those problems. Here's how I solve them. So that was fantastic. I thought so. Yeah, I'm going to go the 9.3 on that as well.
Excellent. Great job, Victoria. David, back to you, sir.
All right, Adam Dixon, AD, let's do it.
Let's do it. You can hear me, Dave?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm a business attorney, and let us assume that you are developing an app. You're a founder of an app, and you're looking to raise $500,000 with your co-founder, and you have several freelancers working for you, and you have a circle of people who know are interested in your product, but you haven't asked them for money yet. Is that okay?
Yep, that works.
Okay, so we'll assume that I was introduced to you. We don't know each other. Okay.
Well, take us in.
All right. Well, Dave, it's great to meet you. I'm glad that Rich put us together. And he tells me that you're developing a dating app that automatically swipes right on everyone. Is that true?
Well, I don't know if that's the full front of it, but yeah, definitely. We've got some good drive here. A lot of things are moving in the right direction, but we're a little bit strapped. We need some cash.
Okay. Well, at the firm that I work at, we help people fundraise all the time. And why don't you tell me a little bit about how much you're looking to raise, who you're looking to raise it from, and what you're going to use it for?
Yeah, we want to blow this thing out, like marketing, but also development. I've got some freelancers, but I think I need to take it to the next level because the idea's right, but we don't have the infrastructure that's going to produce it. And you asked dollar value. I need some assistance with that, but I mean, it's got to be somewhere in the 500,000 mark or more.
Okay, I think that's a very reasonable.
That's probably the wrong number. 500 million.
500,000, I think, is what you're probably thinking of. But yeah, tell me a little more about your freelancers. Are they under any kind of contract with you? Have you made sure that the IP they're developing is owned by you?
Well, that's always a little bit dicey. I'm outsourcing it outside of the border. So we do have a contract, but sometimes I'm a little concerned with how proprietary that is and what the legal parameters are.
Okay. Well, it's going to be important to button that up before we approach your investors with any kind of investment proposal, because anyone who invests into you and your company is going to want to make sure that you own everything that they're going to be paying for. So the people that are going to invest with you, tell me about them.
Well, I'm sourcing some of them, so it's not a finite pool that I know who they are necessarily, but there are a couple of close friends that I have, and then beyond that, a couple of people that Rich, who we mutually know, has also put me in contact with. I think they've got some funding and some interest. It's just a matter of maybe pushing that over the line.
15 seconds.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're setting yourself up nicely for what we colloquially will call a friends and family round. And if it's okay with you, what I'd like to do is sketch together some ideas and a plan for you, and then send you a proposal that we can talk about next time on how to move forward, helping you raise money, make sure your company is all buttoned up for investment, and taking the next steps. Is that all right?
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Well, awesome. I don't want to take up any more of your day. So I'm going to work on this email proposal and look for it either tomorrow or tonight, and we'll talk then, all right?
All right. Sounds good.
See you in a bit.
Thank you.
Adam. Joseph. Countdown 25 seconds.
Adam, great job. And I felt you did a great job leading the conversation, kind of pacing, leading. It's a little fun play. It's very like head to head, I found. But of course, you have 2 minutes to kind of maneuver and coordinate around that. I'll give you a 9 overall. Just a great job, even clarifying the vision for the future and communicating your expertise. In some ways, giving a little bit of your heroic identity. I think potentially you could have even expanded on your heroic identity in terms of your expertise, and perhaps it was already built into the rapport and how you knew each other. So, but that's one thing that was missing for me overall. So a 9 is what I give you.
Thank you, Joseph. And Craig for Adam.
So I actually started off with, it was great how you directed the conversation as well. You went directly into it. And again, maybe it was because you already had the rapport that you had built beforehand, but I thought that it would have been valuable to hear more about specific, rather than the specifics of what he was going through, why he was getting into it. And he kept bringing on like uncertainty, like he wasn't sure exactly whether or not they were fitting requirements, whether or not he was getting what he needed out of it. I thought that you could have stepped into that a little bit more, but again, the time constraints and the fact that you did that in 2 minutes, I thought was absolutely amazing. Even at the end, I was even writing down that you should set up a day and time, and you said that you were going to send it tonight or tomorrow. I thought that was amazing. So I gave you a 9 also.
Excellent. Great job, Adam. David, who is next?
All right, let's go with Tim. Tim, my brother's name as well. Let's go and jump in.
Well, thanks so much, David. I'm just going to pretend it's you, right? Because the setup is that I know a little bit about you. I know that you do coaching. Lindsay, my partner at Eco Enterprise, recommended that we connect, and maybe Eco Enterprise can now offer some services to you. Or
all right.
Sounds good?
Perfect.
All right. Well, David, it's great connecting with you. I know that Lindsay recommended that we connect. All that I know about you is that you're in this coaching realm and that you're out to do big things. So why don't you tell me what you're up to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing 2 things. One, corporate level. We work with a lot of high-end clients, big banks, financial institutions primarily. And then on the personal level, building out my own individual platform and thinking about what that looks like moving forward. So a lot of wheels in motion, a stable corporate side, and then trying to figure out what the next path is on the personal umbrella side.
Got it. And are you currently working with a lot of banks right now, offering your services to them?
Yeah, our firm works with probably any big bank that you might have heard of or know. So think about the JP Morgan, Citigroups, HSBCs of the world. All of that are some of our main clients.
Got it. All right. And what seems to be like the biggest challenge for you that in terms of working with them, or what are you trying to achieve?
Well, I think right now it's building out that portfolio. So really thinking about maybe beyond the financial services is something we've always been thinking about, but really tiptoed around. So how do we translate a really valuable product into a different industry is something that's top of mind often for me.
Got it. And in terms of having them use your services, what's the biggest objection that you come across?
It's either, well, this day and age, initially it was virtual, COVID, like there's a problem right now, but then it's, well, we don't have the balance sheet for it. So I think a lot of people have appetite for it, but then it's a price and balance sheet funding kind of component.
Got it. No, I completely understand. Let me just tell you a little bit about Eco Enterprise. What we do is we help businesses and nonprofits save money. And how we do that is we know that a lot of companies, different industries want to go green, but they don't have the money, right, to actually invest in that. And so what we have been able to provide is through a number of different partnerships, find the best of the best and finding unique financial solutions for different institutions. For example, we have forensic auditors that will actually search energy, utility bills, telecommunication bills, and actually find money that is owed back to them. And once they actually acquire all this money, they can actually use that for whatever purposes they want. Hopefully, what we want them to do is use some of that money towards capital expenditures, towards these cutting edge technologies to drive sustainability. So what I'm actually thinking that just one of the different financial solutions that we have that may be related to your sector in terms of dealing with banks is that many times they have different payroll services, and we actually have partnerships where we could actually use those payroll departments to actually generate income and revenue for the department, moving away from paper, moving away from postage, moving away from mailing out checks to actually having MasterCard actually do those transactions bank to bank. So it actually means that that department, which would actually have this cost, can actually have more efficiencies and actually generate revenue. And that revenue can be used towards professional development as well as any other things that they want to do. Is that something that you'd be interested in talking more about?
I mean, literally, you just tweaked me with that last comment.
Okay, cool. Well, then let's set up a call. Right now it's Wednesday afternoon. Can we set up a time either next Wednesday, same time, and I can actually go into much more detail about those services?
Yeah, let's do that.
Awesome. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to work. Jay, what do you have for Tim?
Great job, Tim. In the 2 minutes, again, it's really tough. What I would say is one of the things that we practice here on Unblinded is called the indispensable elements, and there's 10 of them. And the first one is love, and leading with love, and still having boundaries, but leading with that heart. So I would say, again, less head, more heart. I felt the heart later in the conversation. You know exactly what you're doing. That's obvious. Everyone here seems to be on top of their trade. What I would say is, and Sean, you bring this up a lot, or recently a lot, is deletion, distortion, and dilution. And if you delete a step in the process, if you dilute a step in the process, or you distort a step in the process, it could break rapport. So just leading with that love and remembering that, to me, would be the way to go. 8.7, great job.
Great job, Jay. Joseph, please.
Yeah, so great job, and I give you an 8.5. Driving through the challenge, getting through the obstacle, asking questions are fantastic. I also agree it could have been some more fun energy, perhaps early in the mix, and just connecting. Just of course, 2 minutes is what you have, but just adding more fun energy. Felt it was a little bit too much head, and I also wasn't clear on how the opportunity would kind of navigate for David, how he would benefit out of it. I wasn't clear as far as the connection with that. So that's just something in my space personally. So that's what I give you an 8.5.
Got it. Thank you guys. I appreciate all that feedback. It's helpful.
Great job. Super impressive, Tim. Awesome. David, back to you.
All right. I know we're at 2:47. People may need to jump, but Sean, are we extending maybe till 3 or just?
Yeah, listen, I'm here. So if people, thank you for your patience. I know we had some fun connecting in the beginning, and we could have tightened that up. So thank you for your patience with that. Appreciate it. David, back to you, and I'm here, brother.
All right. Who wants to go next? Maybe I'll do a quick volunteer. Michael. I saw Michael raise her hand. We'll go. Go next.
Okay, perfect. So, David, your name is David, but you're not David. You've read my book, Mastering Work-Life Balance. You've cited the fact that's been sold in 30 countries. That's the only reason you read it, because that was important to you. You've listened to some of my therapeutic meditation therapies. The one that you've been listening to the most is Finding Your Path and Work-Life Balance. So those are the two that you've been listening to. And I spoke at a conference. You contacted me afterwards. We only spoke for 5 minutes. And we set up a quick call for today because you don't have a lot of time. You're extremely busy all the time. And your main problem is lots of money, no life. So that's where we are.
All right. Perfect. Go for it.
So, David, I really enjoyed our conversation, got to know a little bit about you, and I appreciate the fact that you are so successful in life and you've achieved everything you wanted. So with that in place, and I realize you don't have much time, so I'll rush for you. Can you tell me, if we were to work together, since you're familiar with my processes and such, if we work together for 10 weeks, I try to help people, just take that word try out. I help people find exactly where they want to be at a 10-week period, whether that's more life balance, whether that's finding time to just play basketball, whether that's feeling confident in who they are, even though the world already thinks they're extremely confident, whatever it might be. So if we were to work together for 10 weeks, what is most important to you in 10 weeks that you would want to achieve?
I think I've been so focused on career, and like business and all of that it's almost like that is my way of life. So to even shift that a little bit would go a long way personally for me, relationships, and overall, I think health-wise. The challenge I face is that I've known that, and the shift hasn't been made. So I'm wondering, how do I do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm glad you asked that. That shows that you're looking to move ahead. So if you were to have a feeling of what's been holding you back, is it the love of money? Is it the fear of not having the money? What would it be, more the pushing towards or the pushing of fear of?
I'd say like there's this workaholic kind of aspect that's me. Like I love digging in, and I get fired up. It's almost like I'm in the zone about it. And I love to burn the candle at both ends. It's just how I've kind of been wired. So to shift that wiring almost doesn't make sense for me sometimes, if that makes sense.
Okay. So suppose we got you a new candle and we're going to work with that at this point in time, and it only has one end. What emotion would that be for you in 10 weeks that would make you feel more calm, more relaxed? Where would you be?
The first word that came up for me was like peace, like being in a peaceful place, like ease.
And
peace.
what does that look like to you? Describe that to me.
Like I have the ability to step away, step back, and enjoy other things rather than just being almost like always on.
So if we were 10 weeks in the future and you were feeling a sense of peace, you're actually finding you can step away. Remember, it's a short candle. It's only 10 weeks. Sorry, but you're stepping away a little bit and you're stepping back. What does that look like? So what is stepping away? Give me some words for that. What does that mean?
Like doing things I enjoy doing and maybe getting back to some things that used to give me a lot of pleasure that I've kind of like thrown out, like just gotten rid of.
10 seconds.
Great. So if we assuming that we can work together and you wanted to, I'd like to talk to you again, either tomorrow or a Thursday afternoon. I have slots both days to just spend 15 minutes talking about how we can get you to peace, how we can help you step away, how you can feel that stepping back and actually help you get to 10 weeks from now where you enjoy doing things, where you enjoy having that time and it's a new experience. So if we could get you there, I think that would be a good point for you. From what you've told me very quickly, we'd have to talk more. So would you like to speak again 15 minutes so we can talk about what that might look like?
Sounds good. Yeah, let's do it.
Great. Thank you very much. And I appreciate it. And I know we can get you on that new candle. I'm really excited. You just have to pick a color.
Oh, I want to know what flavor. Yeah.
Having fun with the candle. That was awesome. And Craig.
Yeah, I like that also. I love the energy. I thought that your energy was great from the beginning. You had a lot of variance throughout the entire time. You went very, very heart centered. I thought like more than most so far up until now. Even going deeper into the pain, like not letting him sit just where what he felt like he was missing, but really letting him acknowledge it and using his language to get deeper into it. Really made it, I think, a true sense of what he wanted in the future. I think you could have gotten to the next and gotten to that yes, even already at that point in time, and with a shorter response at the end. You think you took that a little farther than you needed to, but I gave you a 9.4.
Nice.
Great, thank you.
Jay.
I'll be really quick. Time integrity, check. Constant acknowledgments, check. I love the language correction where you said try and you went, wait a minute, not try, do. I love that. I think you did everything right. I think you're a 9.9, and I think with like tiny micro distinctions, you're.
Boom.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah, no, awesome job. Amazing congruence. I have plenty to share, but no time to share it. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, Jason, let's jump in.
All right, I keep hearing him say Jay, and I go to unmute myself. But all right, so we'll stick with your name, David. But you are the director of marketing at a bank that is fortunate enough not to have any impact by COVID, so they still have huge budgets. And typically, let's make believe we're about 3 or 4 weeks ago when they're preparing to take, real world 50 to 60 people to a baseball game, which obviously isn't happening anymore.
Sounds good.
Take us in.
All right, so David, how's it going, man? How's everything been doing?
Things are good. Full balance sheet and just enjoying life.
Awesome. So I know we usually talk around this time of year about the outing that we do every year at the Mets with like 50 or 60 people with your clients and employees. Have you thought about what you're going to do to supplement that, since that's not an option?
Well, we're kind of struggling for new ideas, and the virtual stuff is challenging, and we're trying to make it exciting, but haven't really found a way to do that.
Cool. So I know we have a full variety of virtual offerings, and I want to maybe highlight our most popular one when it comes to client entertainment. We do a virtual wine tasting, which is perfect. And what we do is we ship everybody wine in advance. We bring on an advanced professional som to kind of guide the tasting, and we treat it more of an education course. And typically we do it a lot with teams, but the way we kind of get the interaction going when we involve clients is we wrap the bottles and we do a blind wine taste testing. So not only will the sound lead you guys, but we'll be able to have some interaction with you, your sales reps, and their clients over the discussion of the wine. And, we also have the full ability, we white label everything with your bank's logo, just like we do on the tickets. And instead of giving everybody coupons for beers and souvenirs, we'll send them all branded corks and corkscrews and stuff like that to kind of make it the full-on experience so they don't have to do anything. And, in addition, I know every year we only bring one or two clients. Now we have the ability to involve anybody in their family over 21.
Amazing. I was going to say, is there any way to twist in baseball into that? Do you have any stars we can throw into the mix?
I mean, we can absolutely, depending upon how high your budget is, we can definitely go through a Rolodex through some of our clients and, what athletes are on their roster. We just have to be a bit tricky given the current circumstances. They're back to work. Had you asked me 6 months ago, 3 months ago, any athlete would have been up for grabs. But we can certainly entertain that idea. If there's a specific athlete or team or retired athlete we want to involve, we're happy to do that. I do know that there's a particular basketball player who's a huge wine guy, and we can certainly get him as well.
I had a quick brainstorm as we're wrapping this up. Could we get Mariano Rivera out of retirement, Bobby Bonilla at the plate, and just do like a one-off, maybe 5 pitches?
Don't think that's possible, but I'll find out how much he'll be to lead the wine tasting.
All right.
Listen, I have a super important question. Mike Eruzione for soon, what would that cost? And we'll talk about that later. That would be amazing. Yes, so let's go to the judges. Please, Joseph, what do you have?
Jason, great job, my friend. I would. Can you hear me? Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Oh, fantastic. Great. Yeah, I established a frame pretty well. Who David was. The fun to play was in the mix. Acknowledging the bringing aboard a player is fantastic. The only thing I would have said is that in framing David, I would have doing a wine event, right, with alcohol and so forth. Maybe you would have framed him as being okay with that ahead of time, because maybe some people may not be as okay with that and so forth. That's the only thing I had in mind overall, as far as doing a virtual event of that sort. But other than that, there's a lot of fun, engagement, laughter. So I give you a 9.3 overall.
Yeah, beautiful, fun energy. Great job.
Thank you,
Craig.
I actually first thing I had down was you had fun energy the entire time. You made the conversation enjoyable from the start. You even had a great question at the beginning to find out where he's at with creating events. I think you could have asked one question in particular that I thought about, which is the only point that I really had down, was to find out what does he want out of the group event? What is he trying to get out of that? Because I think that would have brought you more of a distinction as to how to connect to what he's trying to create. And yeah, you could have asked if the wine event was something he would be interested in before going too deep. But like I said, the entire time I gave you a 9.4.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, great job. And I'm serious. I'm all kinds of interested in all kinds of activities that Megala provide. This is very fun. So David, thank you for that introduction.
Yeah.
So David, yes, back to you.
We've got Elaine. Elaine, patiently waiting. Appreciate the patience.
I'm happy to be here. Okay, so you are a business coach and you coach women in business 40 and up.
Right.
And I met you through a mutual friend, and you are tired of talking about video. It's not your wheelhouse. And so I'm hoping to connect with you so I can connect with your people.
All right.
Fantastic.
Drop it in.
Okay. So hi, David.
Hey, Elaine, how are you?
It's so good to see you again. How are you?
I am doing well. We're what, midway through the week, hump day, but things are going well.
Hump day, yeah. All right. And it's just such a crazy time. I always try to ask Brene Brown, how are you really, So cool. Thanks for taking the time.
It's funny you say that, because I do that distinction all the time too. People say, yeah, how are you doing? I'm okay. No, how are you really doing? Let's get into it.
I know, right? Well, I'm in the 12-step world, so I'm like, do you really want to know? Because I'll really tell you. And then people are like, just kidding. No, fun. So my friend was saying that your specialty is female entrepreneurs who are mostly over 40, and you've been talking about video and preaching about visibility, and it's not your wheelhouse. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'd love to connect with you. So can you just tell me a little bit more about what you do in your tribe?
Yeah, well, I mean, sweet spot is clearly women over 40 and working with them. And it's been a challenge initially in the beginning, but now I've kind of got a robust network. But I'd say the virtual space is tough right now. And so the video side of things is also a challenge. And I'm trying to navigate some of that successfully.
Yes, I get it. I know that's one of the reasons I started this niche, because I want women to stop holding themselves back. And I don't know if you're finding that theme, but that I feel like that's one of my passions, of helping them find their voice and truly own their power. And that's what Ro was saying, that you help with some of that. But anyway, I would love to chat with you. I know we don't have a ton of time today, but that's one of my areas of expertise. Is I bring humor to it, so they laugh and they have oxygen, and I make it fun for them. And before they know it, they're like, "Oh my God, I shot a video." So I don't know if you have time, but I'd love to get back on your calendar so we could talk more about.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you could enhance what I'm already doing. Is that what we're kind of thinking about? And it would take a little bit of the weight off of my side of things, because I don't love video.
Right. Sure. Yeah. No, that'd be, and I would love to know more about your, philosophy and what you preach, I guess.
Yeah, I'm happy to share more about that. Sounds like a good idea. We should connect.
Okay. Awesome.
Great job, Elaine.
I'm sweating.
No, awesome energy. Like, come on now. You did beautifully. So let's pick it up with Jay. What do you got, brother?
Yeah, Elaine, awesome. I was looking forward to you when you said you were a stand-up comic. I'm like, I love this. She's going to lead with a lot of humor and fun, and you did not disappoint. I felt the fun in your voice, a lot of aspirational. The fact that you were connected mission-wise was a big help. Obviously, I love the word when you use the word tribe, because it really felt like it was like part of who he was at the core. So I think it was a really good job overall. I feel like if you had more time, you would have dove in deeper. So I'm going to go with the time constraint. I'm going to go with a 9.1. Great job.
Beautiful job. Craig.
Sorry, I was muted. Elaine, thank you so much. I also just had so much fun listening to you. I liked how you even stopped to even bring in that "how are you really" as a joke, like not like even adding that as like fun. So diving deeper into what he really was about and what he really felt. Also, when you were like hitting the pain about the video, and sort of tailoring what you can provide, your HUI, to specifically that pain, I think is a great access point, because people always want to know that they're going to have what they need resolved. But I had a great time listening to you, actually. So I would give you 9.4 also.
Wow, thank you.
Great job, Elaine. Craig, Joseph, Jay, amazing job. David, final, sir.
Amazing group of people. Whoever's left, thank you so much. Those who have left already and are reviewing this, awesome. But I'm just warmed by all the great people that are in this group and the experience. This was great.
Yeah. Influencers influencing influencers to come together to make the world a greater place. And as Peter Pan, or the novel, said, the moment we doubt whether we can fly, we cease to be able to do so forever. David, thank you. Everybody, thank you so much. Beautiful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you all very much.